Good evening. Today is September 24th, 2025. It is 6:10 p.m. and I'm reconvening the meeting of the Mount Diablo Unified School District Board of Education. The preliminary business is our land acknowledgement. We recognize that the Mount Diablo Unified School District sits on the territory of the Confederated Villages of the Lasan, the ancestral and unceded land of the Bay Miwok and Northern Yokot, the successors of the Sovereign Verona Band of Contra Costa County. As members of the Mount Diablo Unified School District community, it is vitally important that we not only recognize the history of the land on which we learn, but also that we recognize the land that we inhabit and learn on is the ancestral land of these people who are alive and flourishing members of the Mount Diablo Unified School District and broader Bay Area communities today. Would you please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance?
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
So first, I would like to advise and welcome that student trustee Barrera Oriana has joined the meeting. Welcome. And that trustee Nzewe is participating from Morrison Clark Historic Inn, 1011 L Street, Northwest, Washington, D.C. And she joined us in closed session at 5:11 p.m. Trustee Nzewe, can you hear us?
Yes.
Thank you. There will be a little bit of a time lag, so that's why we are pausing between comments. Okay, so item 6.3 is potential approval of minutes for the regular board meeting held September 10th, 2025.
I move to approve the minutes for the regular board meeting held September 10th, 2025.
Second.
So we have a motion by trustee Mason with a second by trustee McDougall to approve the minutes of the meeting held September 10th, 2025. Trustee Barrera Oriana, how do you vote?
Yes.
Trustee Mason, how do you vote?
Yes.
Trustee McDougall, how do you vote?
Yes.
Trustee Nzewe, how do you vote?
Yes.
Trustee Lawrence, how do you vote?
Yes.
And I, trustee Mayo, vote aye as well. For the audience, because one of our board members is participating remotely, we need to do. Yes. So the board members here will be voting electronically. You heard the oral vote. Trustee Nzewe voted yes, and our board secretary will record her vote. So the motion is adopted on a 5-0-0-0 vote with support from student trustee Barrera Oriana. Okay, it's a mouthful. We're going to move on to the agenda. Dr. Clark, are there any amendments to the agenda?
No changes, Madam President.
I make a motion we approve the agenda as presented.
Second.
So we have a motion by trustee Mason with a second by trustee Lawrence. Is there further discussion on the agenda? Hearing none, trustee Barrera Oriana, how do you vote?
Yes.
Trustee Mason, how do you vote?
Yes.
Trustee Lawrence, how do you vote?
Yes.
Trustee McDougall, how do you vote?
Yes.
Trustee Nzewe, how do you vote?
Yes.
And Linda Mayo votes yes also. Whoops, have to vote on the machine. And the motion is adopted on a 5-0-0-0 vote with support from our student trustee. So now we will move on to 7.1, which is the report out of action taken in closed session. On the liability claim of John Rubio versus the Mount Diablo Unified School District, the board met in closed session and by a vote to 5-0 voted to reject a liability claim for damages pursuant to Government Code Section 54956.95 by John Rubio against the Mount Diablo Unified School District. And then on the superintendent's evaluation, by a vote to 5-0, the board voted in closed session to approve the superintendent's goals for 25-26, and those goals will be posted on the website. Thank you. And then we're moving on to 7.2, stipulated placement agreement for student 426. That was approved.
That was approved,
Approved.
and then I'm doing
Sorry.
7.3.
That particular item we were able to address that item in closed session, and the placement was agreed to on a vote of 5-0 by the board. We're moving on to 7.3, the stipulated expulsion agreement for student 5-26 must take place here in open session. Mr. Lawrence.
Madam President, I move that the board approve the stipulated expulsion agreement for student 05-26. Prior to readmission, student 05-26 is required to meet the following conditions. Student must not enter the grounds of any MDUSD school at any time for any purpose. Student will not attend any Mount Diablo Unified School District school-sponsored activities, whether on or off campus. Student will complete his coursework through attendance at the Onward program at Horizons. This program meets 1 hour weekly individually. In addition, academic help is available through consult hours daily if the student chooses to access them. 4, student will regularly attend and participate in his ERMHS counseling through his IEP. Student will demonstrate a successful school experience, which includes no violation of school rules and education codes 48900 or 48,900, 48915, or district rules and regulations. 2, satisfactory academic progress, earn 30 credits. 3, satisfactory attendance, 80% attendance and no excessive tardies. 6, student must not commit any expellable offenses as defined under the Ed Code. And move to deny the stipulated, oh, sorry, that was it.
So is there a second to the motion?
Second on that.
So we have a motion by trustee Lawrence with a second by trustee McDougall regarding the stipulated expulsion agreement for student 05-26. We have a roll call vote on this item. Is there further discussion? Because it's a closed session item, our student trustee is not privy to the discussions in closed session, so therefore I'm not being discourteous. We just don't call on him to vote. Trustee Lawrence, how do you vote?
Yes.
Trustee McDougall, how do you vote?
Yes.
Trustee Mason, how do you vote?
Yes.
Trustee Nzewi, how do you vote?
Yes.
And I vote yes as well. And the motion is adopted 5-0-0-0 as presented. We are now ready for public comment. The public may address the board regarding any item not on the agenda. Public comment will be allowed on each specific agenda item prior to board action. In accordance with the Brown Act, the board may not take action or engage in dialogue on items that are not posted on the agenda. Speakers must submit a speaker card to the board secretary, and speakers will have 3 minutes each, or a total of 30 minutes for all speakers. If there are multiple speakers on any one subject, the public comment period may be moved to the end of the meeting. Speakers are not allowed to yield their time. Okay. So we have the timer set for 1 minute and 30 seconds. The first speaker is Rebecca Barrett. Welcome, Ms. Barrett. She's a trustee in Contra Costa County. Yes, thank you.
And an MDUSD grad.
everyone. My name is Spirit. I am an alumni of Concord High School class of '07. And a lot of my early political engagement actually started right here in this room. Lots of my high school peers who got very involved with trying to save high school band programs during the deep cuts of '06, '07, '08. I'm here today in the spirit of that to talk about the power of teachers, individual teachers, and their ability to change students' lives. Because oftentimes it's not the system. Oh dear. Well, dear. Okay. Because oftentimes it's not the system that has the power to change students' lives, it's the individual teachers. I myself am a dyslexic student. At a time where dyslexia wasn't really something that was treated or looked at in a school system. But individual teachers took the time to make sure that I could get the notes and support and extra time on tests and quizzes that I needed. They saw me, they provided extra help and support. Oftentimes, to be frank, at times where this district office refused to provide support. Teachers have the power to change lives. Teachers like Mrs. Meyerkorth, who I got to meet last week at an MDUS, at a Medea meeting, who is still active in her union and still teaches at Concord High School. Our teachers aren't asking for the world, but we often say that they're worth it. And I hope you take a moment today to listen to the parents and listen to the teachers and come back to the bargaining table. Thank you.
Thank you. The next speaker is Carolyn Bowden, followed by Carolyn Mehmed. Carolyn, welcome.
Hello. My name's Caroline Mamidi, actually. Yeah.
The other Carolyn is first.
Oh, Carolyn. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry.
Stand by.
Stand by, please. Yes, Carolyn, please.
Hey. My name is Carolyn Bowden. I am not a teacher in the district. I am not a parent, but I'm a substitute. And I have only been substituting for a couple times, a couple years rather. And I want to speak specifically to class size and what's happening at the very lower grades. This week, I was in a class at a particular school, and it was a TK class. And there was one adult for 8 students. The kids were great. Things went smoothly. There were no issues. Everybody got potty breaks if they needed them. Last week, I was in a couple different classes at kindergarten. One substitute for 32 students. It was insane. The week before that, I was a substitute a couple times in first grade, the same thing. What I'm saying to you is that you are putting too much of a burden on your teachers, especially in the lower grades, who are not able to address all the issues of the kids as they're growing, as they're developing. I mean, the development between a TK and kindergarten is minimal. Sometimes it's one day. Sometimes because of the rules, a kid ends up in TK or in kindergarten and they're only one day younger or older than a student who's in the other grade. So as a taxpayer in Contra Costa County in the Mount Diablo Unified School District, as someone who cares about the community, as someone who's been through education, as someone who wants to help, it's hard to help when you're not providing that support. Thank you.
Carolyn Mehmed, followed by Joe Hemsley. Carolyn Mehmed, followed by Joe Hensley. It's unusual to have 2 people sign up with the first name being the same.
Actually, my name's Caroline, but I answer to Carolyn sometimes. So I'm a parent at Delta View. My son's Ari, and I brought him today. He's in first grade, and I'm representing Delta View with other parents and teachers. I'm a teacher myself. I'm a preschool teacher. So I've been working in Montessori for about 25 years. I've worked in Concord for 4 years. So I've seen a lot of students and different environments. I've also volunteered at Delta View. So with the time allotted, I'd like to share a couple of experiences that our parents and our teachers have shared with me. And so a student was brought to tears, one instance that a parent shared, because there's a lot of parents volunteering in our school.
They actually, our classes are also full of 32 kids to one teacher. And so a lot of us have to volunteer multiple times a week, like 5 times a week. Some parents are volunteering just to like make the ratio smaller and just for the classroom size to work. A student was brought to tears because she wasn't able to access an assessment test during the designated time in the first weeks of school. One teacher was expected to support well over 25 young students with logging in and navigating the computer system to test. These kids have an array of needs and they're not being met. So
Thank you very much. Joe Helmsy, followed by Kylie Baker. Joe Hemsley, followed by Kylie Baker.
Just get it done. Just get it done. Okay, so I want us to hold on that comment. We'll talk about that later. I want to qualify. I'm Joe Hemsley. I work at Valley View Middle School. I'm a special education teacher with full inclusion. I have 25 years of experience in education. And I want to lay out, I've worked in 5 districts in the Bay Area. I worked in Hayward for 1, San Francisco for 1, Oakland for 5, Berkeley for 2, and 16 years in Mount Diablo District. And I say this because I've seen many teachers across the Bay Area. And I just want to bring up that these are some of the best teachers in the Bay Area. And what does that mean? Well, these are high-level teachers. We bandy the term elite, but I'm so impressed every day with the organization, the processing efficiency of these intelligent people. They could do anything, but just get it done. That's what we hear a lot. Classroom sizes are 31. Sometimes we have 8 IEPs, 6 504s. What are we told? Just get it done. And we do. We have new curriculum. We have math. We have a whole new curriculum. Just get it done. And we do. We have trainings beyond our contracted time. Do we say we're not going to build our skills? No, we just get it done. So I would ask this board to just get it done. Thank you.
Kylie Baker, followed by Haley Rovenkamp.
Does it start?
Go ahead.
Oh, hi. My name is Kylie. I have a 6-year-old son at Monty Gardens. He's in 1st grade. He has 32 kids in his class. I don't understand how anyone would expect a single teacher to provide a meaningful education when it's basically like a daycare. I volunteer in the class. It's so difficult to care for 32 kids all at the same time when they all need something, they need help, they don't know how to log in. It's chaos. It's chaotic. I think that there needs to be a lot of transparency with the budget to provide easily accessible public audits to the community so that they are assured that the funding isn't being diverted away from direct student support. Our teachers are incredible. They deserve better, and they're working with what they have, and I truly appreciate that they are doing that because, I mean, they're not being given much other than, I mean, I just feel like the class sizes definitely need to be reduced. My son thankfully had an incredible kindergarten teacher last year who set him up with opportunities with the counselor, but I feel like if she hadn't been so incredibly involved, he wouldn't be able to get that support because the teachers are so focused on just trying to survive the day with the 32 kids in each class. It's ridiculous and it needs to change.
Thank you. Haley Rovenkamp, followed by Carol Watkins. Would you please pronounce your last name?
Ruvacamp.
Rovenkamp.
Yes.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Haley. First, I want to start out by saying this is an impossible job and the teachers do amazing. So thank you all for what you do. I really want to talk about the class sizes. I volunteer in the class weekly. I'm a former teacher and it's abysmal. It's so awful. It's to the point where my son in kindergarten was bullied so severely, and the teacher couldn't do anything because she was so overwhelmed. A 6-year-old, a 5-year-old at the time it just shouldn't happen, right? And the teachers have no support. I'm there weekly and I see it, and I can only do so much. My daughter can go to TK now. I held her back. I don't want her to go because I know there's no support. I know the class sizes are so big, and I understand that TK, it's 1 to 8 right now. I don't know. It's hard as a parent, right? You're trusting the district with your children, with your whole world, and you guys are failing them. And I encourage you to go into the classrooms yourselves and try to deal with 31, 32 kids, kindergartners, first graders, second graders. Like he said, get it done. That's it. Thank you.
Carol Watkins, followed by Sarah Brinkman. Carol Watkins.
Hello, my name is Carol Watkins. I have a California teaching credential, lifetime. I have a master's degree in special ed. I'm qualified at the master's level as a dyslexia specialist. I had my own business as a dyslexia specialist for 10 years, and I retired because my husband got sick. So after he passed, I've started volunteering for the Mount Diablo district. I have been almost 10 years volunteering twice a week at a local school. I love the students. I love the staff. I love the admin. What I don't love is the fact that every time we try to get somebody tested, the pushback is, well, they're absent a lot. And I ask you, are they absent and that causes the problem? Or are they absent because of the problem? Please test all of our kids. Yes, it's expensive. It's expensive. You paid my salary for taking care of a kid with dyslexia, and it took 3 years, but he was doing fine. But the cost to you to get that testing done is insignificant in terms of the cost to the community when testing goes undone.
Thank you.
Sarah Brinkman, followed by Dale Van Tassel.
You start, I'll push the button.
Appreciate you. Thank you. Hi, my name is Sarah Brinkman. I have a first and second grader at Mount Diablo Elementary. I am also a member of our PFC executive board. I volunteer on campus 5 days a week, and I'm also the school mascot. I am here to talk about I am here to address the acoustic issues that have come to light at on our campus. And this is also to follow up on the formal complaints that I have filed with the district, the board, and the Department of Education. We currently have 9 full-time classrooms that do not have acoustic tiles. We are so grateful and thankful for our renovation and appreciate the work that the district has put in. Unfortunately, our students are suffering, and we have major educational deficiencies that are occurring because of the acoustic tiles being missing. This is not only affecting the teachers and the students, but just to give you an exact outline of what's happening, it's affecting 2 first grade classroom, 57 students, 2 second grade classrooms, 62 students, 1 third grade classroom, 61 students, affecting 150 students every day for 6 hours a day on top of their full-time teachers. I work in those classrooms 5 days a week, and the sound is unbearable. We have 761 students on the Mount Diablo Elementary campus. These classrooms also include our art and instrumental music, our garden room, and our instructional aids. These rooms do not have acoustic tiles. This needs to be addressed immediately. We have gotten
contradictory responses from the board and the district on numerous occasions. The panels have been ordered. The panels are in progress. The panels are going to be scheduled. The last email that I got from the board, thank you very much. I appreciate your time.
Gail Van Tassel, followed by Amanda Graves.
Good evening. I'm Gail Van Tassel. I'm the president of the Concord Historical Society. I'm here to invite everyone to our open house on October 5th on our Concord Heritage Center, 1928 Clayton Road. The museum, which is filled with Concord's history, including the Mount Diablo Unified School District. Bertha Romaine is up on the wall. The 1904 high school is up on the wall. So please come down to see that. But one of your favorite teachers in this district, Miss Ruth Galindo, her home is also open for tours that day. DVC is bringing their jazz band to come. We have Corey Barton reading C is for Concord that day. And we also have the exciting movie Wild Ride, made in 1960, right here in this town in Clayton, with Jack Nicholson as a very young hood person in this one. So we are really asking you to come down. We have exciting things going on there. We need community to come see what we've done and also to celebrate Concord's diverse history. So you can see everything from the early people, the Chupcon people. The Concord Art Association has created a beautiful mural of the Chupcon people. You can move on into the Pacheco and Galindo histories and move right in through the high school, the number of Japanese people who lived here in this town and also disappeared during the war. Move right into the square and see what businesses are here. Thank you. See you on October 5th.
Amanda Graves, followed by Christy Nella.
Good evening. I'm speaking tonight as a parent of 2 in Mount Diablo School District and as a 3rd grade teacher in the school district. The school I teach at has around 690 students. I've been to the board meetings before. I've mentioned that multiple times. We have 1 counselor 2 days a week. 1 counselor 2 days a week. The elementary school down the street that we share a counselor with has our counselor for the other 3 days. My daughter's middle school has 2 full-time counselors. My son's high school has multiple full-time counselors. Why don't we have full-time counselors at every elementary school site? Where is the counselor where myself and colleagues are getting yelled at, pushed, or kicked? She's down the street. I do want to shout out all counselors in MDUSD. They are amazing. They are. But as a parent, I want to shout out and thank Ms. Stewart and Mr. Cohn for helping my children. Without them, I don't know where my kids would be at. So counselors are so important. I really don't understand why we can't find the budget to get counselors in elementary, to help our children when they're young, to give them the tools when they're young, to help them when they're in middle and high school. So again, shout out to all the counselors, and that's it. Thank you.
Thank you. Christy Nellis, followed by Spencer Erickson.
Hi, everyone. My name's Christine Ella. I am a parent of a kindergartner at Gregory Gardens, and I left my 3-month-old with my husband tonight because I'm having a really rough time with the class sizes. My daughter started off at Robert Shear Special Needs Preschool and excelled. She did amazing, and she did TK at Gregory Gardens. She did great there, and now in kindergarten, there's 28 children and 1 teacher. I went down to working part-time because I would fight the world and advocate for my daughter to have a successful life and a successful school. She now hates going to school, and it breaks my heart every single day. I noticed a regression in her from going into general education with this size of a classroom. She's very high functioning. She's raising her hand trying to get headphones because there's too many kids. These are the pandemic kids coming in. So this is different. These are kids that mom and dad had to work from home, so they sat in front of screens. There's a lot of ADHD going on, and I volunteer every week in the classroom, stretching myself thin to try to fight and help my daughter. And I really want you guys to consider these smaller classrooms especially with these pandemic kids coming in. I feel like we're just setting them up to fail. And education is really huge for me. The teachers are great. I couldn't say enough things about Gregory Gardens and the principal, all of the teachers. That's why I took my time on 2.5 hours of sleep today to come and support the teachers, because I love the community that much. Thank you.
Spencer Erickson, followed by Brett Haupt.
Good evening. My name is Spencer Erickson. I'm a parent of 2 children who attend Mount Diablo schools. My oldest is a 6th grader at Valley View Middle School, and my youngest is in TK at Gregory Gardens Elementary. Both of our boys are happy and thriving at their respective schools. And do you know how we have to thank for that? Their teachers. There are too many to name, and this my time will be up soon. So just know that all of their teachers we are eternally grateful for them. My only wish is that you would show these teachers and all of our district colleagues even a fraction of the respect that they deserve. You claim the students are your top priority, but who will take care of our children if you don't take care of their teachers? From everything I've heard, your teachers are asking for the bare minimum, a salary that allows them to pay the rent, health insurance so they can go to the doctor, and classrooms in which they can hear themselves think. You have over $150 million to pay for these things and you still won't budge? That's a problem. What exactly are you spending these things on? I have an idea. How about the best educators, the best class sizes, and the best support staff? You have the power to do that. You have the power to make that choice. Until you start investing in your teachers, however, the ones who truly look after my children do not claim to be for the students. Do not deprive them of the opportunity to succeed. Make the right choice. Thank you for your time.
Brett Haupt, followed by Pablo Benavanti.
Board members, Dr. Clark, thank you. I am a parent of a 4-year-old in TK at Pleasant Hill Elementary and a teacher at Sequoia Middle School. My wish and the wish of all parents in our district is pretty much the same. We wish for our students to be able to be supported in all the ways that they need. We wish for their teacher to be able to get them the time and get to them every school day and to have meaningful class sizes that they can be able to address all of the concerns of all the students. I want my son to grow up in a district where there is a counselor there every day of the week. I want my son to grow up in a district where there was a librarian at a school every day of the week. I want my son to grow up in a district where there are speech language pathologists that are there for him and don't have over hundreds of other cases to deal with first. I want my son to live in a district that where if he needs counseling or counseling services, there aren't 699 other students waiting in front of him. I want my son to grow up in a district that values these educators, that values the holistic experience of a child. And these things are pennies on the dollar to all of you. Please give our educators the support they need. We stand behind our specialists. Thank you.
Our final speaker is Concord City Council member Pablo Benavitti. Welcome.
Hello, trustees. I'm Pablo Benavente, as you said, city council member here in the city of Concord. What it really comes down is respect. Our teachers are the backbone of our community. They show up every day to shape the next generation, often above and beyond with far too little. Yet here we are waiting for a fair contract. It's time to finish the deal, as they said before. Every delay sends the wrong message to the people who dedicate our lives to our kids. A strong, fair contract isn't just about salaries or benefits. It's about valuing the work that happens in every classroom every single day. We owe it to our teachers, our students, our future to get this done is now. No more excuses. Let's finish the job and give our educators the respect and support they earn. Thank you.
That concludes public comment. We're ready to move on to 9.1, communications, district organizations. A single spokesperson of each recognized district organization may make a brief presentation. Items are limited to those which are informational. Mrs. Ortega. Welcome.
Good evening, President Mayo, trustees, Dr. Clark, members of the audience, and those watching online. For those who do not know me, my name is Linda Ortega. I am the proud president of the Mount Diablo Education Association, representing over 1,600 bargaining unit members. We are the largest bargaining unit in the district who educate and support our students in over 50 school sites. I also want to thank the parents that came out in support of our educators and for sharing your stories. Thank you. I know that our teachers appreciate the relationships they have developed over the years with caregivers and parents in the Mount Diablo Unified School District communities, as I also had my own children attend these schools. To all the parents, please know your teachers want what's best for your students. Every teacher enters into this profession because we believe in the power of education to transform lives, that a great teacher can make a difference in the lives of children. I would like to state again that our educators are dedicated members of our community and schools. They are committed to ensuring student success, and I have always appreciated the collaboration I had with my own children's teachers. Second, I would like to congratulate Dr. Clark on the trustee's decision to extend his contract for another 4 years. I was just surprised to see that this item was on the agenda, given that the district still has not settled on a contract with Medea and the educators that serve our students. You have educators who are forced to have a second job just to make ends meet. You have educators who are worried they won't be able to keep up with rising costs of medical bills because the district won't step away from fully paying our health insurance. These are your teachers. With all due respect to the board, and I do mean this, seeing this item on the agenda now is a bit hurtful. We can see the district takes care of its highest paid employees, but not settle a contract with its over 1,600 educators who work directly with our students every single school day. You can't say you value your students when you devalue those who teach them. That is why Medea has always been very clear on what our teachers need to succeed, because our educators' success is directly tied to student success. We need smaller class sizes and caseloads, fully staffed classrooms, more time for library and music, fully paid medical benefits for educators, and a salary increase that keeps up with the high cost of living in our area. All of this can be paid for by the district prioritizing its students and educator success over contractors or hoarding money for some rainy day, because that time is now. Let me repeat this again. Show me your budget and I can show you your values. Studies show educators remain one of the most respected professions in our community. We work tirelessly to change lives, support all students, and provide them an education that can transform lives. I hope this district and each of our trustees will value its educators and students. You do that by prioritizing us in your budget, settling our contract like you did with the superintendent. Thank you.
We're ready to move on to recognitions and resolutions. The first resolution is 10.1 in recognition of Dyslexia Awareness Month. We'll wait for the room to empty. That's good. Should be good. All right.
Thank you, Madam President. I have for this board Resolution 25/26-11, Dyslexia Awareness Month. Whereas dyslexia is a neurobiological, gotta get these glasses on, neurobiological variation that affects how individuals process language, which can impact skills such as listening, thinking, speaking, reading, writing, and spelling. Individuals with dyslexia may experience challenges in reading comprehension and may have fewer opportunities to engage with written text, which can influence vocabulary development and access to background knowledge. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the governing board of the Mount Diablo Unified School District acknowledges that dyslexia has important educational implications that must be addressed and affirms its commitment to providing all students with equitable, evidence-based literacy instruction. The board further commits to ensuring educators are equipped with the knowledge, training, and resources necessary for early identification and effective intervention. The board hereby designates October 2025 as Dyslexia Awareness Month. Madam President, this resolution is now in the hands of the board.
Madam President, I move that we approve the recognition of Dyslexia Awareness Month for the month of October.
I'll second.
Oh, okay. So we have a motion by Trustee McDougall with a second by Trustee Barrera Oriana. Is there further discussion on this motion? Trustee Barrera Oriana, how do you vote?
Yes.
Trustee McDougall, how do you vote?
Yes.
Trustee Nzewe, how do you vote?
Yes.
Trustee Mason, how do you vote?
Yes.
Trustee Lawrence, how do you vote?
Yes.
And Linda Mayo votes yes as well.
Thank you, Madam President.
The motion is adopted on a 5-0-0 vote, with support from our student trustee Barrera Oriana. Dr. Clark, please continue.
Yes, ma'am. I have Resolution 25/26-12, which is Disability Awareness Month, something that's very critical within our schools and throughout our communities. Whereas disability is a natural part of the human experience, and nearly everyone will experience disability, whether temporary or permanent, at some point in their lives. And whereas disabilities can be both visible and invisible, with diverse meanings and lived experiences. Whereas the Mount Diablo Unified School District affirms that students with disabilities are general education students first, and that all educational, operational, and budgetary decisions must begin with the belief that students with disabilities have both the right and the ability to learn alongside their non-disabled peers through equitable, inclusive, and meaningful opportunities. And be it finally resolved that the Mount Diablo Unified School District Board of Education strongly encourages all schools across the district to teach and celebrate Disability Awareness and History Month in October 2025 and to embed its values of inclusion and respect throughout the school year. Madam President, I leave this resolution in the hands of the board.
I motion to approve resolution 25/26-12 in recognition of Disability Awareness Month.
Second.
So we have a motion by our student trustee Barrera Oriana with a second by trustee Lawrence to recognize Disability Awareness Month. Is there further discussion by the board? Hearing none, we'll go to the vote. Trustee Barrera Oriana, how do you vote?
Yes.
Trustee Lawrence, how do you vote?
Yes.
Trustee Nzewe, how do you vote?
Yes.
Trustee Mason, how do you vote?
Yes.
Trustee McDougall, how do you vote?
Yes.
And Trustee Mayo votes yes. And the motion is adopted on a 5-0-0-0 vote with support from our student trustee, recognizing October as Disability Awareness Month. We're ready to move on to 10.3, recognition of Indigenous People Day.
Yes, Madam President, this is Resolution 25/26-16. Whereas the Mount Diablo Unified School District Governing Board formally recognizes October 13th, 2025 as Indigenous Peoples Day to celebrate and honor the invaluable contributions and resilience of Indigenous peoples. And whereas the Office of the Governor of California first proclaimed for our state in 2019 the second Monday of October as Indigenous Peoples Day. In making this proclamation, we pay respect to the cultures, populations that existed long before European contact. We celebrate the contributions of all Indigenous people to the culture of diversity, innovation, and resilience that has marked California as a leader on the global stage. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the governing board of the Mount Diablo Unified School District fully endorses the significance and meaning of California Governor Newsom's proclamation, hereby recognizes October 13th, 2025 as Indigenous Peoples Day. Madam President, this resolution is in the hands of the board.
I move to approve resolution 25/26-16 in recognition of Indigenous Peoples Day.
I'll second.
So we have a motion by trustee Mason with a second by trustee Barrera Oriana in recognition of Indigenous Peoples Day. Is there further discussion? I appreciate this resolution. Thank you. All right. We're ready for the vote. Trustee Barrera Oriana.
Yes.
Trustee Mason, how do you vote?
Yes.
Trustee Lawrence, how do you vote?
Yes.
Trustee Nzewe?
Yes.
Trustee McDougall?
I abstain.
Abstain. And Trustee Mayo votes yes. So the motion is adopted on a 4-0 vote with one abstention and none absent, and support from Trustee Barrera Oriana in recognition of Indigenous Peoples Day. Thank you. We're ready to move on to resolution 25/26/17, recognizing October as Filipino American History Month.
Thank you very much, Madam President. Whereas it is necessary to instill in our youth the importance of education, history, and self-determination in creating eminent role models, in establishing a proud cultural identity, and producing exceptional citizens of this nation. And whereas today, Filipino American community is the third largest Asian American group in the United States, with an estimated population of 4.6 million people and a makeup of 4.1% of the district student population. And whereas efforts should continue to promote the Filipino American history and culture because the roles of Filipino Americans and other people of color have been previously overlooked in the writing, teaching, and learning of United States history. And therefore, be it resolved that the governing board of the Mount Diablo Unified School District proclaims October as Filipino American History Month, and that all educational sites are encouraged to commemorate this occasion accordingly with appropriate instructional materials, discussions, presentations, and projects. Madam President, I now leave this item in the hands of the board.
Madam President, I move on Resolution 252617, recognizing October as a Filipino American History Month.
Second.
We have a motion by trustee McDougall with a second by trustee Lawrence on resolution 25/26-17, recognizing October as Filipino American History Month. Further discussion? Not, we'll move to the vote. Trustee Barrera Oriana, how do you vote?
Yes.
Trustee McDougall?
Yes.
Trustee Lawrence?
Yes.
Trustee Mason?
Yes.
Trustee Nzewi?
Yes.
And trustee Mayo votes yes also. And the motion on resolution 25/26-17 is adopted on a 5-0-0-0 vote with support from our student trustee Barrera Oriana. We're ready to move on to item 10.5, resolution 25/26-18, recognizing October as Lesbian, Gay, Bisexual, Transgender, Queer Questioning History Month. Dr. Clark, would you introduce it? And then we have 3 speaker cards.
Thank you very much, Madam President. Whereas lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, queer questioning, LGBTQ Americans have made and continue to make lasting contributions to strengthen the fabric of American society. And whereas the month of October has been established to remind all cultures within our wider communities of the important roles LGBTQ plus people have taken in creating the social, historical, legal, and political worlds we live in today. And whereas the Mount Diablo Unified School District Board of Education appreciates and recognizes the importance of LGBTQ plus History Month as an effective means of educating and calling to action the community to work together by fighting prejudice and discrimination in their own lives. And be it further resolved that the Mount Diablo Unified School District Board of Education encourages all schools to utilize high-quality curriculum and training and resources. Madam President, I now leave this resolution in the hands of the board.
Thank you. We will have our public comment first. First speaker is Pablo Benavente.
How much time do I have?
3 minutes.
Oh, well, I'll keep it at 2. How about that? Good evening, trustees. My name is Pablo Benavente. I'm also a council member here in the city of Concord. I want to take a moment to express my strong support for this resolution, recognizing October as the Lesbian, Gay, Bisexual, Transgender, and Queer/Questioning History Month. This is about much more than a celebration. It's about honoring the essential roles that LGBTQ plus people have played in shaping the societal, historical, and legal and political worlds we all share. As Concord's first openly LGBTQ plus council member and the son of an immigrant, this resolution is deeply personal to me. Representation does matter. It tells every student and every family in our community that they belong. It says their stories matter and that they are part of a larger history that has moved our society forward. We know that visibility and education changes lives. When students see themselves reflected in the lessons they learn, they grow with confidence and dignity. And when their peers learn about the contributions and the struggles that LGBTQ plus people throughout history, it builds empathy, understanding, and unity. By adopting this resolution, you'll be affirming that our schools value diversity, champion inclusion, and stand firmly against discrimination. You'll also be sending a message that every student, regardless of who they are or who they love, deserves to learn in an environment where they feel safe, seen, and supported. Thank you for your leadership and for the work you continue to do to build a more inclusive, equity, and equitable community for all. I urge you to support this resolution wholeheartedly. Thank you very much.
Thank you. The next speaker is Carolyn Bowden. You're a frequent flyer tonight.
I guess so. I was about to leave and Pablo said, "Hey, stay for this." Okay. I am one of those kids, as you could probably tell, that when I was young, I was in school and it was obvious I was different. And in the 1960s and 1970s, that was not okay. I was bullied. And that is not okay. That's why this is important. That's why this is so important for kids, little kids in the 4th grade, 5th grade, 6th grade, when they're just trying to figure out who the heck they are. I had no role models. I came out just fine. I've had a productive life. I'm now 67 years old. I'm retired and I'm substitute teaching for this district. And I'm so happy to see this. And I see kids in the classrooms that might be struggling. They need to know that it's okay to be their whole selves and they don't have to hide. And if they're bullied, they can come to someone. I couldn't. I got beat up. I couldn't. So this is important. I wholeheartedly support this resolution.
Thank you. Next is our Community College District Trustee, Rebecca Barrett.
Thank you. I have the mic on fully this time. All right. So like I said before, I'm a proud graduate of this district. I was here at class of 07. And to me, this resolution really is a full circle moment and a living demonstration of how the arc of the universe bends towards justice, however slow or small that bend might be. In 2007, it wasn't particularly a great time or place to be a member of the LGBTQ community at MDUSD schools. We had a fledgling Gay Straight Alliance club, and it was something that many students in my generation were talking about and trying to provide support for each other. But there just wasn't, again, that institutional, systemic support to affirm all students and their identities. Skip ahead to 2016, I met a College Park student who, again, had formed a Gay Straight Alliance club, had made bold, bright t-shirts, and again, ran into problems with parents or ran into problems with members of the community of like, ooh, like, don't be so out and proud about that. That's a little uncomfortable. And I think about our roles as being trustees. And I've never met a child that I haven't want to affirm who they are as people. Being a child, being a student, you're in this exploratory phase of life. You're trying to figure out who you are. And it's our job as an educational system not only to teach them math and English and language and history, but how to move into this world as a proud and stable adult. And passing resolutions like this provide that systemic institutional support for your educators, for your administrators, and for your students to see this is what the top thinks. That this is a basic affirmation that all students, all community members are seen and valued. And it's incredibly important. And so I urge all of you to please vote in support of this. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay. We're ready for a motion.
Will there be discussion after the motion?
Most certainly.
Okay. Just want to make sure. Review, Madam President, I move approval of resolution 2526-18 recognizing October as lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, queer questioning history month.
I'll second that.
So we have a motion by trustee Lawrence with a second by trustee Mason for the approval of resolution 25/26/18. Let's go in order of who made the motion. Trustee Lawrence, would you like to speak first?
Yes, thank you, Madam President. I would start with what is printed on our money. What is our national motto? E pluribus unum, from many, one. I truly believe the United States is the greatest country on earth, but not because of that we have a perfect record, but because of how we grow, how we evolve, how we transform this country, and a recognition of who we are. And I believe there is a notion afoot at a federal level today that is rejecting who is coming to our country. I believe we are a country that welcomes people, that every person needs to be affirmed. I believe that every student in our district needs to be supported and acknowledged. And I think many people might question, why are we having all of these resolutions? And I think it is an opportunity for us as a district to say that people are welcomed regardless of their background, that we welcome all students. We are here to love all students. We are here to educate all students and support them. And so if people have religious beliefs that are contradictory to this, that is absolutely their right to have those private beliefs. But I believe that we as a school district need to remain inclusive and welcoming. Thank you.
Trustee Mason?
I'm good. I think the resolution speaks for itself.
Trustee McDougall?
Thank you, Madam President. I would like to make some comments. As stated back in May, I object to the number of days that are recognized for LGBTQ people. The partial list I have here denotes the days, weeks, and months that are designated for LGBTQ. I count 4 whole months, 6 weeks, and numerous single days, which in total number 195 days. This is more than half the days in a calendar year. Let me identify just a couple of the months. March is the Bisexual Health Awareness Month. June is Pride Month. October is LGBTQ History Month. And November is Trans Awareness Month. My question is, why are 195 days designated for LGBTQ when we don't do more than a few days for our military, our police, our first responders, who put their lives on the line every day? We need to stop this silliness of 4 months and 6 weeks and a total of 195 days for this group. Thank you.
Trustee Barrera, Oriana, do you wish to say anything?
No call.
Okay. Trustee Nzewi?
Oh, yeah.
Trustee Nzewi?
Okay, thank you. I want to start with just honoring some folks, some LGBTQI folks in history. One of my favorites is Langston Hughes. He was an American poet, a social activist, a novelist, a playwright, a leader of the Harlem Renaissance over 100 years ago now. And a well-known poem of his is, "What happens to a dream deferred? Does it dry up like a raisin in the sun, or fester like a sore and then run? Does it stink like rotten meat, or crust and sugar over like a syrupy sweet? Maybe it just sags like a heavy load, or does it explode?" But my favorite poem of his is called "Warning." "Negroes, sweet and docile, meek, humble, and kind, beware the day they change their mind. Wind in the cotton field, gentle breeze, beware the hour it uproots trees." Another figure, Hulea Sinah Jenny is an accomplished two-spirit multimedia artist who's best known for her photographic work rooted in visual Native American sovereignty. She was born to the Bear and Raccoon clans of the Seminole and Muskogee nations and the Jenny clan of the Navajo Nation. Kayoshi Koromaya was born in a Japanese American internment camp during World War II and grew up to become a committed civil rights and anti-war activist. He acted as a personal assistant to the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. and was one of the founders of the Gay Liberation Front and served as an openly gay delegate to the Black Panther Convention that endorsed the gay liberation struggle. Harvey Milk, who we know has a history within our own district, was a U.S. Navy veteran who served during the Korean War and was widely known and nationally recognized as the first openly gay man elected to public office in the United States. And in 1977 is when he won his seat on the San Francisco Board of Supervisors. But as we all know, he was sadly assassinated along with Mayor George Moscone only 11 months later. Emilio Robles Avila. Now, he was born in 1889 and didn't die until 1984, so lived an extremely long life. But he adopted a male identity, not as a survival strategy, but because of a strong desire to be a man. His male identity was accepted by family, society, and the Mexican government, and he lived as a man from the age of 24 until his death. We heard from Concord Councilman Pablo Benavente, who is Concord's first openly gay city council member. And then Sally Ride. She was a lesbian engineer, physicist, and astronaut. She completed a double major in physics and English, unfortunately at Stanford University. You know I am ride or die, go Bears. And then she joined NASA in 1978. Then there she became both the youngest American astronaut and the first American woman to travel to space aboard the Space Shuttle Challenger. My fellow trustees and I have received a very small number of emails over the past few months with parents and others concerned by our schools flying the pride flag, saying the act, quote, is creating division and exclusion. Or, this is a quote, what I don't understand is what their sexual preference or identity has to do with their contributions. When we teach about astronaut Sally Ride, we teach about her accomplishments of being the first American woman in space and the youngest American astronaut in space. We applaud her for her education and her advocacy of women in the science field. There is no need to teach children what her sexual preference was. Yes, she was gay. That has nothing to do with her accomplishments and her contributions while working on the space shuttle. Fellow trustees, when people raise these concerns, what they would rather is that we don't honor people's full humanity. I am a Black woman, a Black mother, a Black daughter, a Black wife, a Black elected official, a Black nonprofit leader. None of these accomplishments of mine can be separated from my Blackness. To do so is to deny my full humanity. The same is true for our LGBTQIA siblings. They are artists, activists, historians, elected officials, scientists, authors, doctors, researchers, lawyers. And when they live in a nation that oppresses them because of their LGBTQI identity, it is our duty that when we teach our children about them, we teach about their full selves. Our students can't be what they can't see, and we have plenty of LGBTQIA students, and it's our duty to teach them their full history. It's our duty to teach them that when they are their full, authentic selves, they can accomplish anything. To do anything less is shameful, harmful, and immoral. I can't wait to vote for this resolution.
Thank you.
Madam President, I have a comment. I'm just going to say, as the leader of this district and someone who puts these resolutions on, it's disappointing to, when you hear comments and people say things about your commitment to kids because of whatever case or whatnot. But I have been nothing but supportive of all students that walk in our building. And so when I hear comments that this board doesn't care or the superintendent doesn't care, they are just flat out wrong.
Thank you, Dr. Clark. Trustee Nzewi has spoken most powerfully. My comments won't come close to hers. I agree with her statement that we have to recognize the full humanity of all of our students across the district. This is a History Month recognition, and there are so many powerful and important people who are in this category who have contributed to our everyday lives, our health, our science, our engineering, our arts in particular, and music. We owe much to these great people. Representation matters. And I just wanted to point out that the California Department of Education has a list of recommended websites and information and instructional materials for families and our school staff. And the one that's included on the resolution is a recognized Department of Education resource for use. So if we're ready for the vote, we will move forward. Okay. Trustee Barrera Oriana, how do you vote?
Yes.
Trustee Lawrence, how do you vote?
Yes.
Trustee Mason?
Yes.
Trustee McDougall?
No.
Trustee Nzewi?
Yes.
And Mayo votes yes. So the motion to adopt Resolution 25/26-18 recognizing October as Lesbian, Gay, Bisexual, Transgender, Queer Questioning History Month is adopted on a 4-1 vote against, 0 abstentions, and with 0 trustees absent, and with support of our student trustee, Barrera Oriana. That concludes the action on this item. Dr. Clark, we're ready to move on to 10.6.
Thank you, Madam President. Resolution 25/26-19, California Week of the School Administrator, which is October 12th through the 18th, 2025. Whereas approximately 17,000 certificated and classified school administrators are employed in the public schools of the state of California. And whereas the title school administrator is a broad term used to define many education leadership posts, which include the district executive team, principals, assistant principals, special education and adult education leaders, curriculum and assessment leaders, school business officials, classified educational leaders, and other school district employees. And whereas administrators set the tone for the school and their division, departments, and advocate for all students and ensure that students are supported through a multi-tiered system of support. And now, therefore, be it resolved that the Mount Diablo Unified School District joins with the California Department of Education declaring October 12th through 18th, 2025 as the Week of the School Administrator and commends the many outstanding contributions and services provided by administrative teams in our public schools. Madam President, I leave this resolution in the hands of the board.
I motion to approve Resolution 25/26-19, recognizing October 12 through 18, 2025 as California Week of the School Administrator.
I'll second that.
So we have a motion by Trustee Barrera Oriana with a second by Trustee Mason regarding the recognition of October 12th through 18th as California Week of the School Administrator. Is there further discussion? We'll move to the vote. Trustee Barrera Oriana, how do you vote?
Yes.
Trustee Mason, how do you vote? Trustee Nzewi, how do you vote?
Yes.
Trustee McDougall, how do you vote? Trustee Lawrence?
Yes.
And Trustee Mayo votes yes as well. The motion to adopt a resolution 25/26-18 is approved on a 5-0-0-0 vote with support from our student trustee, Barrera Oriana. Let's move on to item 10.7. Dr. Clark.
Right. And Madam President, we have 3 left, and I just want to reiterate that I think it's important that we put these resolutions forward just to let folks know where we stand and what we support. So, celebrating National School Lunch Week, October 13th through the 17th. Whereas in 1946, then President Harry Truman signed the National School Lunch Act. Whereas the National School Lunch Program is now the largest federal child nutrition program. Whereas approximately 30 million students nationwide are served daily meals through the National School Lunch Program. And whereas the Mount Diablo Unified School District serves over 13,000 lunches daily and over 2 million lunches annually. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Mount Diablo Unified School District Board of Education that it celebrate National School Lunch Week from October 13th to the 17th, and this year's theme, Taste the World, Your School Lunch Passport. Madam President, this resolution is in the hands of the board.
Madam Chair, I move to approve Resolution 25/26-20 in support of National School Lunch Week 2025. A lot of our students, that's the only food they get. I appreciate the fact that in recent years, the district has moved to highly nutritious and fresh meals for the kids. And if our kids aren't well fed, they're not going to learn well. So I appreciate this week, and I appreciate all the hard work that our food service has done for our students.
Second the motion and second the statement.
We have a motion by Trustee Mason with a second by Trustee Lawrence. Is there further discussion on this resolution?
Occasionally I hear from people that they resent that their tax dollars are going to provide free lunches. And I will just say that hungry children don't learn. And, I have two kids who are eating those school lunches, but even when I no longer have kids in the MDUSD schools, I am happy to have my tax dollars go towards providing nutritious meals for students. As Ms. Mason said, for so many of our students, this is the only solid meal that they know that they're getting each day. And, I think about who our future teachers, our future doctors, our future airplane pilots. I want them to be well educated. And again, hungry students don't learn. And this is a great use of taxpayer dollars, and I am proud to support it. Thank you.
Any further comments? Trustee Barrera Ariana, how do you vote?
Yes.
Thank you. Trustee Mason,
Yes.
Trustee Lawrence,
Yes.
Trustee McDougall,
Yes.
Trustee Nzewi,
Yes.
Trustee Mayo votes yes as well. And the motion is adopted on a 5-0-0-0 vote with support from our student trustee, Barrera Oriana. We'll move on to 10.8. Dr. Clark.
Madam President, I present to you Resolution 25/26-21, Anti-Bullying Awareness Month, which is October 2025. Whereas the Mount Diablo Unified School District's Local Control and Accountability Plan goals indicate that all students will receive high-quality education in a safe and welcoming environment. And whereas staff fully supports an Anti-Bullying Awareness Month in which the schools will have flexibility to carry out anti-bullying activities within that month. The students' participation in anti-bullying activities should provide the opportunity for the following to occur. I'm not going to read all of them, but I'll get a couple. Allow students to speak honestly about their experiences with bullying and find solace in the knowledge that others have been in similar situations. Allow students, help empower students in the recognition of the role everyone plays in addressing and reducing bullying with the goal to eradicate bullying on all school campuses. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Mount Diablo Unified School District of the district declares October as Anti-Bullying Awareness Month, and the superintendent and other appropriate staff will initiate anti-bullying activities at all schools among all students to be planned, coordinated, and implemented by the individual school site students and staff. Madam President, I leave this resolution in the hands of the board.
Madam President, I'd like to move that we approve Resolution 25/26-21 in recognition of Anti-Bullying Awareness Month.
Second.
I'll second.
We have a motion by trustee McDougall with a second by trustee Barrera Oriana in recognition of the Anti-Bullying Awareness Month for October. Is there further discussion? I will just say this is one of the most important resolutions that we have on our agenda tonight. All of them are important, but the health and well-being of our students every single day is of critical importance. And each of us are aware of young people who have indicated they've been bullying and how painful it is. And we even had an adult member today become emotional when they shared how painful the bullying was over 60 years ago. So it's with honor that I will vote yes on this particular motion. Trustee Barrera Oriana, how do you vote?
Yes.
Trustee McDougall, how do you vote?
Yes.
Trustee Mason?
Yes.
Trustee Nzewi?
Yes.
Trustee Lawrence?
Yes.
Trustee Mayo votes yes. Oops. And I forget to use the computer. The motion is adopted on a 5-0-0-0 vote to recognize the Anti-Bullying Awareness Month in October. Dr. Clark, item 10.9.
Last one. Thank you, board, for hanging with us here. So resolution 25/26-22 proclaiming October as Youth Justice Action Month. Whereas Youth Justice Action Month is observed each October to raise awareness about the importance of creating fair, equitable, and developmentally appropriate approaches to youth justice. Whereas many youth who come in contact with the justice system have also experienced systemic inequities, including poverty, unstable housing, discrimination, and limited access to health care and educational opportunities, all of which directly impact their educational success. The Mount Diablo Unified School District offers expanded supports for students through a welcoming intake process and ongoing support through the SOAR program, which provides academic, social, emotional, and behavior interventions to help students remain connected to school and a pathway to success. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the governing board of the Mount Diablo Unified School District proclaims October as Youth Justice Action Month and encourages staff, students, families, and community members to engage in activities, learning, and advocacy that uplift youth, promote equity, and build stronger and more just communities. Madam President, this item is now in the hands of the board.
I motion to approve resolution 25/26-22 proclaiming October as Youth Justice Action Month.
Second that.
So we have a motion by trustee Barrera Oriana with a second by trustee Mason to approve the resolution 25/26-22 proclaiming October as Youth Justice Action Month. Is there further discussion? Let's go for the vote. Trustee Barrera Oriana, how do you vote?
Yes.
Trustee Mason, how do you vote?
Yes.
Trustee McDougall?
Abstain.
Trustee Nzewi?
Yes.
Trustee Lawrence?
Yes.
And Trustee Mayo votes yes also. So the motion is adopted on a 4 yes, no no's, 1 abstention, none absent, and support of our student Barrera Oriana. So it's adopted proclaiming October as Youth Justice Action Month. Dr. Clark, we're ready to move on to 10.10.
Yeah, so this is a resolution, but it's a business resolution. So it's for provisional internship permits, and we have one teacher out of Mount Diablo High School that we're asking for potential approval for.
Madam President, I move that the board approve item 10.10, approval of board resolution for personnel with provisional internship permits.
Seconded.
So we have a motion by trustee Lawrence with a second by trustee McDougall regarding board resolution 25/26-23 for personnel with provisional internship permits. Is there further discussion? Seeing none, trustee Barrera Oriana, how do you vote?
Yes.
Trustee Lawrence,
Yes.
Trustee McDougall,
Yes.
Trustee Nzewi,
Yes.
Trustee Mason,
Yes.
and Trustee Mayo votes yes also. And this motion is adopted on a 5-0-0-0 vote. This was resolution 25/26-23. Thank you, Dr. Clark.
One more business resolution is for variable term waivers. And we have two teachers, one out of Bel Air and one out of Sunrise Elementary. And it's around counseling. We're asking for approval.
I'll move to approve resolution 25/26-24, variable term waivers.
Second.
So we have a motion by Trustee Mason with a second by Trustee Lawrence regarding resolution 25/26-24 for personnel with variable term waivers. Is there further discussion? Seeing none, we'll move to the vote. Trustee Barrera Oriana, how do you vote?
Yes.
Trustee Mason,
Yes.
Trustee Lawrence,
Yes.
Trustee Nzewi,
Yes.
Trustee McDougall,
Yes.
and Trustee Mayo votes yes. And the motion is adopted on a 5-0-0-0 vote with support from our student trustee Barrera Oriana. We're ready to move on to public employee appointments. 11.1, Dr. Clark.
Yes, we have something fun here, and so we're extremely excited to bring before this board for the principal position of Sun Terrace Elementary School. I'd like to present to you Sheila McCumber. The Human Resources Department is bringing for the board's review and potential approval the appointment of Sheila McCumber as the principal of Sun Terrace Elementary School. Sheila is an experienced and strategic school leader with a deep commitment to student-centered systems. Her focus is on building sustainable structures that support academic rigor, social-emotional growth, and authentic collaboration among staff, students, and families. Sheila earned her BA in French from Central Michigan University and her MA in Educational Administration from Cal State University of Northridge. Outside of work, Sheila enjoys hiking, running, and spending time with her family and pets. It is important to her to bring creativity in both her personal life and professional life. Sheila is always looking for thoughtful ways to make school feel welcoming and connected. With that, I leave this appointment in the hands of the board.
Is there a motion?
Sure. Madam President, I'd like to move that we approve Sheila McCumber as the Sun Terrace Elementary School principal.
Second that.
So we have a motion by Trustee McDougall with a second by Trustee Mason regarding ratifying the appointment of Sheila McCumber as principal at Sun Terrace Elementary School. Is there further discussion? Trustee Barrera Oriana, how do you vote?
Yes.
Trustee McDougall,
Yes.
Trustee Mason,
Yes.
Trustee Lawrence,
Yes.
Trustee Nzewi,
Yes.
and Trustee Mayo votes yes. So the motion is adopted on a 5-0-0-0 vote. Congratulations, with support of our student trustee.
Just a couple words. Thank you.
Good evening. I want to thank you for this opportunity. I'm grateful for your support, and I am honored to have this position and to be able to move forward and serve as principal at Sun Terrace Elementary School. This role, I know that it carries a lot of deep responsibility, and I plan to approach it with a strong commitment to our students and families. I look forward to working in partnership with our community, strengthening what's working, listening closely to what's needed, and lead in ways that support both academic excellence and social emotional growth. Thank you again.
Who'd you bring with you?
What's that?
Who'd you bring with you?
This is my son, Alex.
Tradition of ours. We always want guests to be introduced.
Alex, come on.
He's just waiting. Make him speak, but we just wanted to.
So this is my son Alex. He will be 20 here in a little over a month, and my pride and joy.
Welcome.
Nice to meet
Thank you.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Okay, we're ready to move on to 11.2, review and potential approval of the First Amendment to the employment agreement for Dr. Adam Clark as superintendent for the Mount Diablo Unified School District through June 30th, 2029. Our general counsel, Suzanne Stuckey Kim, will provide us with some key points regarding this item.
Okay. In accordance with the government code, I have to read out the key terms. The key terms are that it goes from July 1st, 2025 through June 30th, 2029. This is a First Amendment, so it's only the only change to the current contract is the term. But I do have to read out the other key terms, which are a base salary of $326,350. And the district will contribute to a tax deferred compensation plan in the amount of $24,290 annually, health benefits for 12-month employees. Those are the key terms. Thank you.
Thank you. We have 2 cards for public comment. The first is Sarah Brinkman.
Hello again. Again, my name is Sarah Brinkman. I'm speaking on behalf of Mount Diablo Elementary. I have a first and second grader at that school. Dr. Clark's employment contract with Mount Diablo Unified School District is not in the best interest of the district students or educational community. Dr. Clark, I met you at Mount Diablo Elementary's ribbon cutting. You said hello but failed to introduce yourself. You showed little interest in our school or our excitement. I saw you for a second time last week at our PAC meeting where I was devoid of the opportunity to have a public comment. Our communication has been vague, insincere, and effortless. I again emailed you last Wednesday morning with additional concerns after the PAC meeting. I am still awaiting a response. Mrs. Mayo and Mrs. Mason, I am very grateful for your responses. Thank you so much. As of 9/17/25, the school board has informed me that the contract to install acoustic tiles and window coverings at MDE was approved on the 10th. We are still awaiting a start work order. And not to beat a horse and talk about the same issue over and over again, but best case scenario, if that start work order was placed on Monday, that's 88 days, which is what I was informed. That leaves us in February. That leaves my first and my second grader in educationally deficient classrooms until the beginning of the first of next year, and that is unacceptable. Swift action can be taken. Parents and classmates and people around our school community have said we could go to Lowe's or Home Depot tomorrow and install acoustic tiles and have it done, bada bing, bada boom. Spend the money, take the time, find the manpower, fix it. And it's not just our school, it's Rio Vista and it's Meadow Homes. These kids are having a very hard time in school. My 6-year-old should not have to wear sound canceling headphones every single day in class. Her first grade teacher is having to rotate these headphones because there aren't enough at our school. I stepped on a nail last week and pulled it out of my shoe. I saw a kindergartner pick up a razor blade. Please come and fix our school community. I am a small business owner. I own a business that works with children from 2 to 18, so I completely understand your environment. Granted, it's much smaller than your 29,000 students, but I understand how important children are and how important their learning environment is. I apologize if I'm getting emotional, but it's very important to our school community. It's very important to our educators and our teachers and our parents. We are not asking for much. And like I said earlier, we are so grateful for the school you have provided us. All we're asking for is for our young children to have a place where they can laugh and thrive and grow and make connections with each other. And Dr. Clark, I just don't feel that you are meeting that expectation right now. And I hope that the school board and the community and those in this district can see the same. Thank you.
Thank you. Cora Mitchell. Welcome, Cora.
Thank you so much. Good evening, everybody. I'm here also to ask you all to slow down, not stop, but slow down. I feel like the consideration of this extension is really premature. His contract does not end until 2027, but we currently have teachers working without one. The optics around that isn't good. But optics aside, there's also still the pending test results from last year that have not been published. And I feel like that's information that should be able to be taken into consideration before a decision is made, especially considering the new clause regarding the 4-1 vote required if you were not happy with his performance in order to end his contract. So it's much more restrictive. And I think that stretching this out until 2029 puts us in a bit of a bind if the test scores don't support the efforts that he's putting in. In addition to that, there are a couple other things that I want to point out. There have been other issues, student achievement stuff aside, which not that I don't think that's important. I think it's very important. But we also have the findings from a grand jury that were not very favorable regarding a legally mandated community oversight board for a bond measure. That I think should be taken into consideration. There was also an additional scandal after that regarding the dismissal of that committee, which didn't look good. We have the unresolved issue regarding the food truck, which you all were warned about. That probably wasn't a great idea to proceed with, but you chose to anyways. And now we are embroiled in another legal issue. We have $3.3 million missing from our after-school program. This still is pending a criminal case. Also, we are apparently being sued by the former HR, John Rubio, whatever his position was. It just seems like there's a lot of things that have gone on that maybe aren't seamless. And I feel like the public deserves an opportunity to see what information you are considering before you make this decision. He's a public employee. You guys are public representatives. And just having the item on the agenda doesn't really explain what information you are using to determine whether or not you feel he continues to be a good fit for this district. You know, we all have our opinions, but I think really basing it on what the criteria is for how you are assessing his performance as a public member, we all deserve that. We're taxpayers, we are your constituents, we are community members who contribute to this district as well. And I think that we all deserve an opportunity to see what is going on behind the scenes when it comes to making this decision, as well as giving more robust public comment about the specific things that are being used to determine whether or not you're going to extend it. But above all else, again, this is not a decision that you have to make today. There is absolutely no reason to do this now. His contract is good until the end of the school year 2027. So I just don't see the rush. I think we can take our time. Thank you all so much.
Thank you. So you've received the docket, board members. Are we ready for a motion?
I will make a motion that the board has reviewed and we want to approve the proposed First Amendment of the employment agreement. Is that the right motion there? Yep, that's what.
Yes.
For superintendent for July 1st, 2025 through July 30th, 2029, as presented. I probably can say I'm the only person in the room that can say I've been involved with the school district from kindergarten to today. And I can tell you this is the first time since Dr. Clark has been here, when I feel like your kid could be going to school in Walnut Creek and Bay Point and be getting the exact same services. That was never true for my community before. I worked to the district for 22 years. I never saw a superintendent on our site for anything but a ribbon cutting, not to mention just interacting with the kids when they get there. As a community, we felt ignored. That doesn't happen anymore. I've never seen, and you'll hear in my report tonight, so much scaffolding, so many agencies, so many things going toward what's good for our kids and being at every level to catch them wherever they need to be caught. And that's whether it's kids needing, well, you'll hear when I do my report tonight, because I was astounded when I went around and visited schools at where we are today compared to where we've been in the many, many years that I've been involved with the school district. And why now is because we're all rowing in the right direction. We're all seeing the changes we want to see, and we don't want a chance that somebody else will tempt Mr. or Dr. Clark to leave us. That's why I am in favor of renewing the contract.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
We have a motion by trustee Mason with a second by trustee.
Yeah. Sorry, a student board member, you can't do the second.
Okay.
Second.
All right.
We still appreciate you.
Yes. Is there a second?
Second.
Okay. Well, Mr. Lawrence beat you to it, trustee Nzewi. So we have a motion by trustee Mason with a second by trustee Lawrence. Further discussion. Okay.
Thank you, Madam President. Go right ahead. Go right ahead.
Trustee McDougall is first, then you're next.
I give way to Trustee Nzewi.
Trustee McDougall has, is letting you go first, Trustee Nzewi.
I am so proud to represent this district and so proud that Dr. Clark is our superintendent. I know that so he does, well, I don't know what he knows, but I know that when several people from the community have said, I'm so frustrated and and I say, have you talked to Dr. Clark? And they're like, wow, can I do that? And I say, just call his office. And then they get an appointment. And then they get to have a sit down because he's extremely open to our community, especially when, so, okay, let me be real. Sometimes people come with an automatic negative attitude, and that's definitely going to put me off. If any of you have had the benefit of my email replies occasionally, it's very rare, but sometimes I don't behave in the best way. But when people come respectfully and express their frustrations, express their concerns, when they've come back to me and say, oh my gosh, I felt heard. I don't know what he can do or if he will do anything, but I've never felt more heard. I don't think that we can take I know that we are basing this decision on facts and on results, you all will see as they're posted, the extremely audacious and necessary goals that he will have over the next few years for our district that will move all of our children forward, move everyone forward in the ways that we want. And there is no one more committed to children. And I think that's what frustrates people so much, is that he is like, his North Star, his sole focus is on our children. And that's what we should want. And that is absolutely what we need. He's a skilled leader, an honored leader across the country. We are lucky. I feel lucky to know board members across the nation, and we have got it so good. You all just don't know. But we could find out if he were to choose to leave or if he were to choose to not renew his contract. Without hesitation, always voted to extend his contract with each of our evaluations. He's evaluated every year, and we've extended his contract every year. And I will continue to do that without hesitation today. I feel so lucky that all the struggles that I've been through in this district as a parent, and now this is my last year as a parent in this district, that most of the time we spent here was under his leadership, and I can see the growth and the difference that he has made in how I get to be as a parent at my child's school and the experience that my child and her classmates had. And that wouldn't have happened under any other leader. So I absolutely support the extension of this contract.
Trustee McDougall, do you have anything further to say?
Yes, thank you. I'm going to abstain on this because that usually means the person needs more time to study it, and that's what I want. I'm new. I've gone through the evaluation process only once. This is the first time I've gone through union contract negotiations. And so I feel it's time to study it more before I approve something like this.
Trustee Lawrence.
So I think back to during my first tenure on the board in 2020, and then Trustee Joanne Durkee and I were both preparing to leave the board. And one of the things that was incredibly important to us was to make sure that the district was in good hands as we departed. And that was why we were so thankful, along with Ms. Mayo and Ms. Mason, who were also on the board at the time, to bring on Dr. Clark. And, bluntly, one of the reasons why I returned 5 years later is because Dr. Clark is still here. That played an important consideration for me in putting myself forward. And, much like, I mentioned earlier that we as a country are not perfect. He as a superintendent is not perfect. There are challenges. There are times where we've disagreed on things, but I have a great deal of respect for him. I believe we are very lucky to have him. considering that he is now, time flies, but the fourth most tenured superintendent in Contra Costa, says something. And I think that, some of the comments I heard tonight, I will say that in a district our size, we always get sued, and there will always be lawsuits. I think that is a course of doing business in a 29,000 student district. In terms of test scores, that was something that means a lot to me. I think that the data will be fully publicly available next month. But what I can share is that the preliminary reports that we've received show progress in that. And the number one criteria that the board has agreed with the superintendent to look at is to raise student achievement in ELA and math. And I think something that Ms. Mayo has pointed out is really a lot where you see improvement from a superintendent is in those multiple years. And that, bluntly, if in year one or year two there's an improvement, I don't know how much of that you can attribute to a superintendent, because there is a lag on test scores. It takes time to implement systems, put structures in place. And I think we are seeing the results of the efforts that have gone on over these last few years. I would also note that the amount, if the board did dismiss the superintendent, the amount that we would pay him does not change under this agreement, as well as the fact that his salary remains the same at this point. And so, I think that is important, but I think it is a strong statement from this board that we work together as a governing structure, and that this is a partnership, and that we have a superintendent who we believe in. This district is headed in the right direction. There are challenges, there are problems. Those continue to be addressed, but I believe that the direction we are headed in is one I'm excited about and proud. And I'm excited about the opportunity for Dr. Clark to continue to serve here. Thank you.
Thank you. I appreciate that Trustee Lawrence took the words out of my mouth regarding the academic success of any district is based and can be proven on the longevity of the superintendent. Dr. Clark has led this district superbly since he joined us in 2020 and brought us through the COVID crisis, reopened our schools, and has supported our students across the district. He is the one that recommended and brought forward to the board that we modernize the 3 elementary schools. And I think that is one of the outstanding recommendations for our district, because it has brought new life to those schools, and our Bay Point community, our Meadow Homes, and even Mount Diablo Elementary can be proud of their schools again. I wish that we had another facilities bond so we could do all of our elementary schools and treat them in such a manner. I also wanted to address the fact that there were folks that have argued that we should be settling this agreement before contract negotiations are settled. We didn't bring forward this extension in June because we completed the evaluation in the last meeting in June. We have been working on the goals, and I know you will be astounded by the goals that have been published on the website all this time for the years that Dr. Clark has been in the district. I wanted to also address that for the years 20 to 2023, Medea received a 10.5% increase over the 3 years, and then for the year 24-25, Medea members received a 9% increase. And for the last 2 years, the Medea members and all members of our district received full employee benefits, medical benefits. This is due to the leadership of Dr. Clark in conserving funds across our district so that our employees are recognized. Yes, we are in a disagreement right now. It will be resolved. I hope it will be a positive resolution, but the previous, if you add it up in simple terms, that's 19.5% over 4 years. That is huge. So based on the direction that we have set and the direction that Dr. Clark has led us in and the improvements that have occurred in Mount Diablo School District, I will be supporting this motion. So my question is, may our student board member voice their vote?
He can voice a preference.
Okay. Does anybody else want to speak? I'm sorry. Okay. Trustee Barrera Oriana, how do you vote?
Yes.
Trustee Mason, how do you vote?
Yes.
Trustee Lawrence, how do you vote?
Yes.
Trustee Nzewi, how do you vote?
Yes.
Trustee McDougall?
Abstain?
Trustee Mayo votes yes.
I would like to thank you, board, for your support.
I need to announce the vote.
It's all right.
I want to announce it purposely and intentionally. Mr.
I'm
Lawrence.
not seeing it. I don't
Huh?
have it. I don't have it.
There you
Is it-
go.
There. Okay. Thank you.
The motion is adopted on a 4 yes, 1 abstention, and no board members absent, with support from our student trustee, Dr. Clark.
Again, as I've said before, I'm extremely proud to serve this board. I believe that we are taking this district in the right direction. It's being a superintendent is not an easy position. You know, you make a decision and people think you're a genius and other people think you don't know what you're doing. But you hit the nail on the head when you said that I'm all about kids. That is what I care about. And I care about every single kid that walks through our doors. And I tell students all the time, every single thing you see in this district, every person is here for you. Not for the teachers, not for the principals, not for me. It is here for our students. And I will, as long as I'm leading this district, I will do everything in my power to support our students. So again, I thank you all for your support, and I look forward to continue to operate as a high-functioning governance team. Thank you.
Thank you. With that, we're ready to move on to board member reports. Trustee Barrera Oriana, would you like to present first?
Over the past 2 weeks, I've had the pleasure of attending 2 very special events, including Concord High School's first football game, where I saw Dr. Clark on the field, and where Concord High School got the win over San Lorenzo. And I was also able to attend a school site council meeting at Holbrook Language Academy, where I was able to familiarize myself with procedures like not the Roberts Rule yet, but I was able to, so I could bring it further in my meetings for the Student Advisory Committee. In addition to that, I have been reaching out to the high school principals, and I was able to receive all the necessary names for the Student Advisory Committee. I'm planning on having our first meeting next week, October 1st, at Concord High School at 5 o'clock. I've already sent out the invitations to all the members.
Thank you. Trustee McDougall.
Thank you, Madam President. Had a few activities in the last couple of weeks. On the 11th of September, I attended the Silverwood Elementary PTA meeting. There were about 30 in attendance, including the principal. I was impressed by the full slate of activities that they're planning for this year. On the 13th, which was Saturday, I went to a volunteer chaplain's training in Martinez. I've done this for the past 30 plus years. On the 15th, I had a phone conversation with Lynn Mackey, the superintendent of Contra Costa Office of Education, about the KVHS radio station. They bought the license from us for $1 and have moved the transmission equipment to the top of their Pleasant Hill offices with little loss of broadcast range. I hope we can have our Mount Diablo USD CTE pathways avail themselves of the training they hope to implement. And I'm looking at Heather. By moving the transmission equipment, they eliminated the many thousands of dollars that we paid for those rights. So it was a good move. On the 17th of September, it was Constitution and Citizenship Day. I had hoped to attend the training on the Constitution that we are required to hold annually under federal statute. We didn't have any constitutional trainings, and therefore we are not in compliance with a 2004 federal law. On the 18th, I attended briefly the Rocket Ship Futuro charter school celebration of Hispanic heritage, and it was very educational to see how involved they all get. On the 19th, after reading your Friday letter, I realized that that football field over at Mount Diablo was fixed much faster than we thought it would happen. And so I had other plans, but I said, I got to go see this. So I didn't stay for the game, but I went down there to see how the field was doing. They don't have the logo in the middle yet, but it's they played on it, so they did quite well. So the field is operational, and I'm glad to see that our money is well spent on that. On the 22nd of September, I attended a Monument Youth Drug and Alcohol event where they were talking about the number of alcoholic sale outlets are in Concord and Martinez and Pleasant Hill and Walnut Creek and that sort of thing. And it really is too many. And so I applaud their efforts to really see if we can shrink that number of alcohol sale outlets. And finally, yesterday, attended the Mount Diablo Business and Educational Alliance event at the Mount Diablo High School Serendipity Restaurant. And I think it was a very productive session where we broke up to groups and had plans or ideas for how we can improve the completion rate on the CTE programs. And I'm glad to see this is happening. And I do applaud Heather for all the work that you and your staff, and it's the staff too, have put into this. And so I thank you for that.
Trustee Nzewi.
In honor of, so earlier we honored Week of the School Administrator. So I want to give my school principal, Dr. Richardson, a shout out because the man knows how to work a room, and probably to the displeasure of students, because why are you paying attention to me? But at last week's College Park Choir concert, when I arrived, lights are up, everyone's gathering, it's a potluck, people are eating, and the man was talking to every student in the room and every parent. And I know that as a parent, how much to feel like you're seen and heard, how that's so important and creates a sense of belonging and a sense of community at our schools. And so no other administrator should be upset because I didn't call them out. I just wanted to use that as a very recent example of an amazing administrator in our district, and I feel really lucky to get to experience him for this year. Second, I just want to mention that last week, 2 school buses filled with students got to go to the HBCU fair at Pittsburgh High School. And I was not a part of that. I just had to get up early and drop a child off to catch a bus. But it was fun to see all the students who showed up so early in the morning to catch the bus and who got off the bus with really cool box lunches and college acceptances and scholarships and or ideas of where they can apply to all across the country. And this opportunity I love that there was this partnership with Pittsburgh Unified, and I love that this opportunity was open to all students in our district, and that 2 full busloads, I don't know if they were full, but 2 busloads of students took advantage of that. And like I mentioned last spring was the last HBCU fair. It's just a really great opportunity when students go, and especially because we encourage all students to go, if they don't consider that they can go to college, to get affirmation on the spot because they take their transcripts and everything. It's so inspiring to folks and lets them know, oh, I can go to college. So I'm really appreciative to the partnership and the continued effort to have not just the HBCU fairs, but the general college fairs that we have throughout our district throughout the year. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you. Trustee Mason.
Okay. No surprise, I've been busy. I went to the APAC meeting out in Bay Point, and Dr. Francis had several service providers that are working with our schools, working with our youth. He did a review of all the outstanding activities we had last year and a preview of all the good activities we're going to have this year. And they're going to be moving the show around and meeting in different places this year. So I'm looking forward to that. So that's one resource. Thank you, Dr. Clark, that we now have here. And then I went to Java with Janice. The parents are very happy with the school. You know that. They're had a lot of suggestions on how they could even get the traffic moving better through the bus circle, but that was very positive. I went to Mount Diablo High School, Olympic High School, and Riverview Middle School promoting the Youth Summit that was hosted by Supervisor Preston Scales out at LMC. And then on a Saturday, I went out and met with Mayor Obrainer, and we planted 50 trees in Baldwin Park. And I met a young man there who was a graduate from Mount Diablo High School and is coming back and wants to work with our kids, and also worked with 2 kids from our district. So they were out there involved in that. Then I went to the PAC meeting. Well, first I went to shout out to Christine Filios for the amazing PAC training. You know how I am about process. I had my checklist there. They hit all the spots. And then I went to Dr. Clark and said, now are all the principals having their meetings? So that was good. And then I went to the PAC meeting where Dr. Clark spoke to many parents. It was very well attended, went over our goals, continue to tell the parents how we're dedicated to helping these kids get where they need to be. And hopefully a lot of them will come back and join us as employees. And then I went to Olympic High School for their back to school night, and they had Mount Diablo in the house. We had our food services there. We had our attendance people there. We had our adult school there. It was like a party, and a shout out to the Foundry, the newest career pathway. They were selling the best watermelon frescas that I've ever tasted. And so now they're thinking about maybe going over to looking into going to the farmer's market and selling it there. It was very good. There was a lot of kids there. They had food, they had haircuts. And then I had to leave there to come to the DLAC meeting, which was packed. Enjoying the DLAC meeting. Now it's very inclusive. There's lots of different ethnicities coming there and sharing. And then Dr. Clark, what was it that you were up to with that? It was like, what is Dr. Cleese everywhere? It was what was the thing that we were, the new reclassification. We finally have gotten to where we can get more kids reclassifying. There's always been this little hurdle tied to their grade by the teacher, but now there's going to be another option so we can get more kids reclassified, because we need to get them reclassified before they go to high school, so they can take more classes toward going to college. And then what was this meeting? Oh, DLAC, again, more activities for our kids, educating together, which is going to be our parent conference that we have. Unfortunately, I won't be able to be there because I'm in Sacramento presenting on agriculture in the classroom that day, but I will be there in spirit. And then I went to the youth summit and worked the youth summit for 6 in the morning till noon. Saw some of our students come, some of our parents come through, some of my ex-employees come through. So that was a fun day. And then what else did and then I went to Serendipity to get caught up on all the amazing things at our career program. And again, our career pathways. We have a parents' night coming up. We have all of these partners. I think they have like almost 20 partners now. We have staff, some of them that include our graduates, Dr. Clark. So it was as I was going through all these, getting ready for the meeting, I'm like, this is really amazing that we are offering at all these entryways, places where parents and kids can find a niche, find what they're interested, be supported, get the information they needed. And I've never seen it happening to the degree it's happening at this time. So that's why I thank you, Dr. Clark. And that's my report for tonight.
Very nice. Mr. Lawrence.
Thank you. I had the opportunity to visit Foothill Middle School, meet with the principal, Crystal Stoll. She showed me around campus, lots of exciting things happening there. One of the things she showed me was they have a huge number of students, and I see this myself, riding bikes to school. They're kind of bursting at the seams. They're trying to partner with Street Smart to get more bike racks. Which one of my favorite things was years back I did. I think it was at Pine Hollow where they had the stationary bikes, and you'd ride the bike and make the smoothie. So I'm always open for any invites for that. Those were delicious smoothies and a good time. But one thing I will say that really concerns me is I see this all the time when I'm driving around our neighborhood schools. The number of students who are on electric bikes who are 12 and 13 years old going at incredibly fast speeds, a lot of them not wearing helmets. Throughout our district, we've had some serious injuries already. And I think we are on a path to, unfortunately, I think we'll see even more number and more severe injuries. And it's something that, I think that we should be partnering with the police departments in our district to work with them on safety, because I think this is a very, very real concern that we have out there. I did want to make mention, I failed to, one of the things I've noticed when I go to schools, they'll often mention, oh, Dr. Clark was just here. And so I think there's such an appreciation for how often he was out how often he is out in the community. One of the new teachers at Northgate, I was walking through and she had a giant Raiders flag. And I mentioned, oh, I'm sure Dr. Clark. And she's like, oh, he already saw it. And he told me that anything I need, just let him know. And so, that's a little tip for folks out there. But so I was able to do that. I wanted to go to the Mount Diablo game. Fantastic that their field was repaired so quickly. I ended up going to the Northgate Clayton Valley football game that same night instead. I got there at halftime. Northgate was down 27-7. They battled back. It was 39-33. So my apologies. I should have gotten there a little bit earlier. They just ran out of time, but a successful fake punt and a successful onside kick helped power that second half comeback. And I just think one of the true joys is going out, Friday night lights to all our different sporting events, and seeing the support out there, seeing the families and seeing the kids do things that they love. I've also, I've mentioned it before, but I continue. One of my favorite things is now I'm like the official down marker person for girls flag football. And it's so fun to, you get all the girls and the coaches behind you and hear them, and then you can talk to the ref and you got the best view in the house. So continue to enjoy doing that. And I will say that last week, the Northgate JV flag football team, first time in school history to win 3 games in a week, which is also because now that's the first time they've had 3 games in a week, but still great accomplishment, including they had a last second win, last play of the game touchdown pass, which was really fun to be a part of. So great deal of enjoyment there. Second, I did want to, I think one of the unfortunate things we hear from so many of our teachers and community members around contract negotiations and recognizing, some of them have to rush home and fix dinner or prep for school tomorrow and the various things. And so it's a bit of a one-sided conversation. And so I wanted to take a moment to just share a couple of my thoughts. First, our teachers and our other staff throughout our district, are educators underpaid? Yes, absolutely. I truly believe that. And I think, as Ms. Mayo mentioned, this board in the last few years has invested significantly in raises. Last year, a 9% raise. It's been raised that there is over a $200 million budget surplus. And I think it's very appropriate that the board made the move to invest in our educators. That the result of that is a $44 million operating deficit last year. And so you can only do that for so long. That is not something that is sustainable. I think when people come in and they say, we think teachers deserve a raise. We think we should have more librarians. We think we should have more speech pathologists. We should have more counselors. We should have more librarians. We should have smaller class sizes. I think that every single member of this board and the superintendent all believe in that and all support that. But it is a question of finite resources and what we can afford. And so when you look at a $44 million operating deficit, and then if you cost it out, what it would cost for if we just accepted just those proposals that I just mentioned, this district would be bankrupt at the end of the next school year. That is the calculation on it. And so while I heard many people talk about here's the thing we want to spend money on, the question is where do we want to make cuts in order to pay for that? Because that is not sustainable. That is not possible. And it is absolutely true that show me your budget and show me your priorities. And I think that we as a district need to, one, invest as much as fiscally prudent into our staff and closest to the classroom. But that is the ongoing conversation. And so if we as a board just accepted everything that was proposed, it would be fiscally irresponsible, and this district would be bankrupt in very short order. So I wanted to mention that. And then the third thing I will mention, I have shared that I do believe while I have this platform, one of the things I will talk about is what's happening on a federal level in education. And there are a plethora of things that I could talk about, but I will take a moment to talk about vaccines and the push from the federal government, the current administration to frankly scare people and limit access to vaccines. One of the reasons we have not had any board meetings around the polio epidemic or the smallpox epidemic here in Mount Diablo is because of vaccines. Vaccines are safe, they are proven, they have been tested. It is part of why our community has been safe. And I think that taking advice from a president who has also benefited, I mean, let's just be blunt, in his first term, he almost died from COVID. He was very close. It was emergency medicine, extreme measures that allowed him to live. Many members of the administration were the very first people who, as part of then President Trump in 2020's effort for Operation Warp Speed, they are the very first one in line for vaccines. And I think that what is happening right now is scary. It is a travesty to scare people and to not recognize science and the efficacy and proven safety of vaccines. And that is a threat to our community. And it's one that I continue to speak out about. So thank you. That concludes my report.
Thank you. Excellent board reports. I think mine will be very boring, but it'll be quick. On September 16th, I've attended the parent advisory meeting with Trustee Mason. And on September 18th, we attended the District Learner Advisory Committee meeting. And next month, they will be having an election of officers. So if individuals are interested in serving on the District Learner Advisory Committee, they should attend the meeting. The September 27th parent conference was called out by Ms. Mason. It's being held at the Loma Vista Adult Education Center with an 8 a.m. registration for families or adults. There's childcare, free backpacks, lunch will be provided, and 2 workshop sessions on a plethora is the only way to describe it, a list of workshops. The topics are amazing, and the parent conference was something that I went to as a young parent, and other families from my elementary school, we attended it together. It was a great day, and I hope that everyone can turn out for it. And then I wanted to announce that on October 14th, there is a potential board study session. This is tentative, so mark your calendars as tentative, and the topic will be the 25-26 budget. Can we take comment on board reports? I believe we are obligated to take a comment on board reports. Cora Mitchell.
Hello again. I just want to quickly address the question about where would we cut from. If you're earnestly asking that question, I think most community members would agree that looking at the top is generally the furthest place from the classroom. And in looking at the most recent reporting of staffing from the CDE, which is reported by staff members at this district, we have 200 less teachers today than we did 5 years ago, but our number of administrators has remained consistent over the last 5 years. That seems skewed. And I think it would be worth taking some time to look into why that's happened, and really where the need is and where we are putting our funds. I'm sure you all know that administrators tend to make a lot more money than most of our teachers do. And so where can we get the most bang for our buck for our students? I would highly recommend looking into that. Thank you.
Great. Dr. Clark.
Yes. Again, just I want to again thank this board, but you know I none of this work happens in isolation or happens alone. There's a tremendous team that is all working together to reach these goals, and everything that is brought up is is not things that I'm out there doing, but I do set the tone. I set the vision. I provide the support, but the team are the ones that are out there doing it. And I can just go on for hours and hours talking about all of the things and committed folks that we have in this district working to support each and every student. So I'm doing something different tonight with my presentations. I'm kind of following your guys' lead, except I don't have any dates and times. But I will say, over the last week or two, I visited El Monte. El Monte is a school that made gains on the CAFs in both ELA and math. There, I visited teachers' classes. I visited one class in particular. They were doing math. They were working in groups. They were using our TNTP training, building thinking classrooms. All students were engaged. Students were talking about the math problem. You know, on our standardized tests, math, there's a lot of word problems in there, so you got to have vocabulary, and this teacher was doing an excellent job at having his students read out and work together, and I was just very much inspired by that. I visited the TK classrooms. They were dismissing. They were sending home late friends, and they were sending home early friends, and late friends were coming, and just spoke with those teachers and aides in that classroom, and they were just super excited, and there was so much going on there. I also went, and I didn't eat lunch, but I went and spent time in the cafeteria with the kids eating lunch. While I was there, I spoke with the cafeteria team, thanked them for all they do, spoke to the custodial team, thanked her for her work and keeping such a tidy campus. I visited with multiple grade levels of students. These students were so engaging and just so just so excited to be at school and to be learning and talking and sharing their things with the superintendent. I also, it's too bad that the parents left, but I also went and visited Mount Diablo Elementary School and spent some time there. They made gains in ELA. I first went to the cafeteria. I spoke to the servers and I spoke to the students getting lunch about whether or not they liked their food. They were all super excited. I then went over to the TK yard where they were eating lunch. And I don't know if there's some new thing, but all the little TKers were bringing up to me their frozen ice packs that came in all different shapes, sizes, and colors. And they always offer me food or grapes or goldfish and things like that. By then, the principal and VP came and got me out of there because I was having too much fun. And I went around to some of the classrooms with the tiles to go in here and see for myself. But I did I visited two amazing classes, a second grade and a fourth grade class, and they were doing amazing activities. I talked to all the students. I even had a teacher come to me at a training a couple days later, and she said I came into her son's class, knew his name. I actually read it on the desk and stuff. Shook his hand. He said he wasn't going to wash his hand for a week. I told her to please tell him to wash his hand. I'm really not that important. I then went over. I then spent another period of time over at Sequoia Elementary School. They made gains in math last year. Spoke with the office staff. I visited with the third graders during recess. I was super impressed with their school spirit. Every third grade class had decorated T-shirts, tie-dye. That's back from my era. And so I was asking the kids how they did it. It's still with the rubber bands and all those things, and they do. So I was very excited about that. I then went over and visited some kindergartners. in their class, and they were playing with what I thought, silly me, was Play-Doh, but it was actually kinetic sand.
Yeah.
And I asked them if I could take some with me, and it doesn't age well because I got sand all over my car and all over myself as I took it with me. I kept it for the rest of the day. It's actually kind of soothing to rub it, but it dried up and died out on me. I then was invited into a teacher's class, and I watched 4 students do a PowerPoint presentation on wellness. And what their topic was the benefits of sleep and getting the correct hours of sleep and for students. And they were just talking about the mental health of it and what it does for growth and all those types of things. So they were super excited. They were using very big words, and they had one student there that was correcting everyone and helping, but doing it in a very nice way. And just it was a very good visit to that class. I then went out. They were doing a science project, and they were using sundials to track the times and things like that. And they were all just very engaged. Super impressed with what was going on in those classrooms. I went over to Oak Grove Middle School another day. They made gains in both ELA and math. And I spoke with the office staff, spoke with the support teams. As I was walking around campus, I saw the principal out during passing period. So I started hanging out with him. We were talking to students. We visited a classroom where a teacher was having an engaging conversation about the law that's coming up around restricting cell phones in schools. And so she was asking her students, we don't have any, I know we do the yonder pouches in high school, but we're not doing anything yet in middle school. So, but that will be coming. So we had a great talk with the students there. I then visited their wellness center. They have a great wellness center there. There were students in there meeting with staff in there, and I spoke with the students, spoke with the staff, and just a very, very positive environment taking place. I also visited Diablo View Middle School. They made gains in both ELA and math. I visited the office. One of my ex-students is actually one of their office staff there. And so I always see her, and I still recognize her as a middle schooler, but she's all grown now and working there. So chatted with them. I went over to 6th graders who were having lunch. I also went to the library and thanked the library staff for having the library open at lunchtime, because there were kids in there enjoying that time. It was a super hot day, and there was air conditioning in there. I went to their wellness room, which was just, I mean, I was just gushing all over the place, because it is the lights were dim. Students were in there reading, talking. Just, these were 6th grade middle school students. Middle school is a very difficult time, and to have a safe space where these students can go at lunchtime and either get support if they need it or hang out with a friend or whatnot, it was very nice. Spoke to every single student. They were all very engaging and respectful. The bell rang. I followed the 6th graders into class. I visited 3 6th grade classes. They were doing ELA right after lunch. Talked to the students about their textbook. 6th grade ELA textbook with the anthology is very thick. Students said they enjoy reading the stories. Talked to the teachers. It was great. The bell rang. I then went to lunch and went and visited the folks in the cafeteria. They have an extremely orderly line there at Diablo View. Students got in, got their lunches. Salad bars and things like that for middle schools is something that you just don't, it just still is shocking to me that we have salad bars for our middle school students. I also went into the cafeteria because there are the SDC students with severe disabilities were having lunch. And so I went in there and hung out with them. I was also offered goldfish, but there were some nonverbal students in there, and there were some students with some real specific needs. And they were excited to see me, excited to engage how they could. And I thanked all their aides who were working with them. Some were employees, some were contracted, but just really gave them their time. And then, of course, I went and talked with 7th and 8th graders as I left. My other visit, went to Mount Diablo High School, went to go visit our teacher of the year, David Pintado. Spoke to students in his class. And, if you've ever heard Dr. Pintado, the energy and the enthusiasm that he shows for learning, it is infectious. And the kids in that classroom were just so engaged. They were so excited to have a visitor. They were so excited to explain things. Dr. Pintado was trying to take pictures of he and I. A student came to save him because he didn't quite know what he wasn't working very well, and I was giving him a hard time about that. but it was a great visit to his class. I then heard the band, and to walk on the Mount Diablo High School campus and hear the band playing was magical. I went in there, they were playing music. I danced. I could not help myself. And the teacher was excited. The students were excited. They were preparing for the game that night. And just, I mean, just a great thing. So, I mean, these were 6 schools that I visited. Just, I'm there to talk to people, see with my own eyes what's going on, get any feedback. They're all positive. Every last one of them. Every school that I've been to has been positive. And like I'm so excited to see our kids flourishing and just doing well. I am extremely thankful for Linda Ortega being Medea president. We're in challenging times now, but I think that I think Linda is reasonable, and you know, her heart's in the right place, and I think, you know, she'll at some point we'll be able to figure this out. But I am extremely thankful for Linda Ortega. Some very extremely disappointing news that I have to share. This isn't disappointing, but I went to Constitution Day over at Adult Ed, and I was there along with Mayor Olbringer, and I addressed the students and staff there, and it was just a very engaging conversation. The students there were super excited. Of course, I talked to students. We had some College Park graduates there, Mount Diablo High graduates there, and then just all walks of life. Also, while I was there, I visited the daycare that we have in this district for our adult school learners. And so just amazed. I mean, we offer daycare for adult school learners. I mean, so was very excited about that. And of course, I visit my students over at Bridge. Some of the students were out, and this is the disappointing part I got to share. Some of the students were out as they go out on field trips and they go and visit businesses, and they're working on getting internships. But I'm going to read the what's on our website that describes the Bridge program in case you don't know what it is. The Bridge program is for persons 18 to 22 with disabilities who have completed 4 years of high school with a certificate of completion. So they don't have a diploma, but a certificate of completion. These are severely disabled kids who are working toward who completed or are working toward the certificate of completion and have turned 18. The goal of the Bridge program is to provide individuals with the knowledge and skills they need in order to make successful transitions to adult life. The Bridge program assists individuals to increase independence and to access vocational, social, and recreational opportunities in the community. So we have fought, just as staff and as folks in public education, to provide to get paid internships for these students, paid working experience. Because you go to a Starbucks and you want to hire someone who's disabled and has severe needs, and they may not want to pay them, and we can come in and say, no, please give them this experience. We have grant money to help pay. $300 per student per year is what they can earn. All right. It's been cut by the federal government, by our own federal government. It's been cut. Now they can make $120 in a lifetime. So when I talk about uncertain times that we're facing and why it's important to have strong leaders who will stand up, and why it's important to be prudent with our dollars and to make the right decisions, because we do not know what's coming next. If this program for 18 to 20-year-old severely disabled people is going to be cut, that is a problem. And I don't know the reason why this was cut, but it's gone. We have to we have to do that, and that's disappointing. There was an article today, and it's going to affect us. In DC, they will cancel nearly $168 million in school-based mental health grants that funded hundreds of school social workers, counselors, and wellness coaches in California. With the amount of youth challenges with the amount of students who are in our schools who we have to call 911 because they want to harm themselves and things like that, with the amount that that's going on. And I know, you know, folks are going to say it's our fault and we're doing this and that, but like, it's happening everywhere. And even in this article, we're not rural. Rural, low-income school districts have severe mental health provider shortages and higher rates of youth suicide than the rest of the state. So we're all paying the price here. So as we go forward, I don't know what the future of public education is going to be. I don't know what our funding stream is going to be. You know, I'm very proud to know that we gave a 19% raise over my tenure in this district. Also, we've updated, and I know we have some challenges in our math right now, but we've updated all of our curriculum. We've updated all of our board policies. When we were going to board policies, the policies were last updated in 2010. So again, I take this position openly. I know I'm going to have detractors. I understand that. I don't mind that, because in my heart, I know we're doing the right things and I'm going to continue to do the right things. But this is a scary time for public education and it's uncertain. And so I'm going to continue to lead this district with caution, with empathy, with care, and make sure that we're doing what's best for our students. And the last thing that I'll say, the program that Dr. Fontanella runs for our students is amazing with the opportunities that they get. And I would have been at that meeting, but I drew the short straw and I had to go to the Giants game to watch our choirs sing the national anthem. But I was so proud to see them. They were dressed in choir gear. They were wearing all black, and they stood at attention right behind second base off the infield, and they sang that national anthem. Put goosebumps through you. They had Mount Diablo on the big screen at the you know, on the jumbotron, and it was a very proud moment. I sat there in the stands with the parents and other students and friends of families. Our Dr. Richardson was there. He was working the Giants game, like talking to everybody, but just amazing things happening in this district, and you know, we're gonna keep pushing it forward and keep doing everything we can to support our students. So that concludes my report, and we're gonna keep on pushing on. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Clark. We're ready now for the consent agenda. Approval of the items on the consent agenda are considered routine and will be approved or adopted by a single motion. There will not be a separate discussion on these items. However, any item may be removed from the consent agenda upon the request of any member of the board and acted upon separately. Are there items that you would like to have pulled?
Madam President, I would like to pull item 14.15, please.
Any other items? If not, let's have a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda with the removal of item 14.6.
Second.
So I thought I heard you say.
Yeah, it's 14.15.
Sorry, 14.15.
Okay.
Second that.
So I'll speak slowly so that staff has the time to pull that item and rearrange our agenda. We have a motion by Trustee Mason with a second by Trustee McDougall on the approval of the consent agenda as presented, with the exception of item 14.15, which will be considered separately. Is there further discussion? Trustee Barrera Oriana, how do you vote?
Yes.
Trustee Mason?
Yes.
Trustee McDougall?
Yes.
Trustee Lawrence?
Yes.
Trustee Nzewi?
Yes.
And Trustee Mayo votes yes. So the motion is adopted on a 5-0-0-0 vote. regarding the consent agenda, with the exception of the former 1415, which will now be 15.1, I believe. Okay. Oops. 1415. Okay. Mr. Lawrence.
Madam President, I move the approval of a piggyback contract for art supply kits for CARES Extended Learning Program. And then I'll have a comment.
Okay, I'll second that.
So a fun fact, I actually failed art one year, which I thought was incredibly unfair because I actually showed up and I tried, and it was purely on the basis of like my art itself, which was very damaging. And I didn't have any art supply kits at the time, so could have changed everything. But my question for superintendent and staff was if we could just have a brief explanation. It is a very significant amount of money, $676,000. I was hoping just to get a bit more information as to like what was actually in these art kits.
Oh, Trustee Lawrence, when you brought this to my attention, I had to look up what some of these art kits were, and they're actually quite
elaborate.
Yes, they are, and I do have our team here. I will speak on it, but if you would like to come up and speak on it, Linda or Robert or whatnot, or Cherie, here we go. Please, because the little banta boxes, what are they called? Bent what? Well, I mean, they were the little boxes they were all making throughout this whole. Okay, thank you. Good.
Yes. So it is all inclusive, and this is a scope and sequence from the beginning of this year all the way through summer of June of 2026. So it'll go all the way through our summer program. We have a TK curriculum now that we have a million TKs. Yeah. They're wonderful, but they need a lot of things to do that are age appropriate. So Moxie Box has developed an age appropriate TK curriculum in the fall and the spring. So all of our TKs will get a fall curriculum and a spring curriculum. We also partner with Tyson Knight, who is an international acclaimed artist and filmmaker, and he's actually coming out during fall break. If you want to see him at one of our schools, he works with our kids in partnership with Moxie Box. So they've developed art kits based on his artwork, and he comes and does that with all of our students. He'll be doing that over fall break, spring break, and summer, and some of our intercession days. And then each of our kids, we have almost 3,000 students in our program every day after school. So this is TK through 12. They will get a fall kit, a winter kit, a spring kit, and 2 summer kits.
Korean Haji box. Yes. What is that? Tell me about that.
And then the great thing about this is everything that the student needs is in the kit. It's 8 to 10 hours of curriculum. It is hands-on. It is our teachers teach it and our staff, our after-school program staff. So it's very versatile. But the boxes, they create like almost like a jewelry box, I guess is like, that's not exactly what it is, but they get to build that. They have other ones that are like paint. They work with different mediums. They get to experience all different types of art. I myself cannot draw a stick figure. When I was in the classroom, they would always say, "It's okay, Mrs. Gann. We know you tried your best." So this is, I've actually sat and done a lot of the art kits with them, and I'm much better than a stick figure now. I have a very long way to go, but.
I mean, who knows what I could have developed into if I'd only had access to these type of teachers and this. I just might take you up on that, and I appreciate the invite. So thank you.
But woe is you if you use a box that's not yours. Further discussion on this item? Okay, Trustee Barrera Arana, how do you vote?
Yes.
Trustee Lawrence?
Yes.
Trustee Mason? Yes. Trustee Nzewi?
Yes.
Trustee McDougall?
Yes.
Trustee Mayo votes yes. Mr. McDougall? The motion is adopted on a 5-0-0-0 vote with support from our student trustee. Thank you. We're ready to move on to the business of the meeting. Dr. Clark.
Yes, Madam President. Let's see what's on my list here. 17.1, conduct a public hearing on regarding sufficiency of textbooks and instructional materials for the 25-26 school year. This is an action item, but I'm going to have Samantha Allen and Christina Filios come and take this item or open up the hearing. Or maybe you get to bang the gavel.
Oh, you want me to bang it now?
Well,
We do.
not bang it, but
That's the best part about being president.
Tap it gently. I open the hearing.
Yes.
Good evening, President Mayo, Vice President Mason, Board of Trustees, Superintendent Clark. Oops. All right. So tonight we are presenting the textbook sufficiency resolution to the board. We have identified a few areas of insufficiency, specifically science texts for transitional kindergarten and kindergarten. These insufficiencies arise from the expansion of classes, necessitating the purchase of additional materials. We have already ordered additional science texts, which are expected to be delivered this week. I am pleased to report that the insufficiencies at Ignacio Valley Elementary have been resolved with book orders processed through the district warehouse. Likewise, the International Baccalaureate math texts for Ignacio Valley High School were ordered and arrived on site yesterday, resolving that insufficiency. We will provide the board an update at the October 15th meeting, confirming that all insufficiencies have been resolved.
So do we have any public comment cards? Seeing no one rushing to the microphone to speak, I'll close the public hearing. Thank you. Board members, we're ready for a resolution, and then you can ask questions of staff if you'd like.
Madam President, I move the board approve item 17.1, resolution 2526-13, sufficiency of textbooks and instructional materials.
I'll second it and then just ask. When my kids were in school, there was always a disconnect because I'd come to these meetings and I'd hear this, and then you go to back to school night and the teachers, we don't have enough books. And so I tell them, go down to district office because they say you do have enough books. So we do have enough books for all the kids that need them, correct? All right.
Trustee Lawrence, do you have anything you want to say? Okay.
I would just say as a parent that they don't have textbooks for me. That this is a confirmation that I'm telling you, I've had children tell me that as well. So I'm just saying you get it. Yeah.
Okay. I hope that there's more meaningful conversation.
Wow.
All right. Not seeing any more comment. Trustee Barrera Oriana, how do you vote?
Yes.
Trustee Lawrence.
Yes.
Trustee Mason.
Yes.
Trustee Nzewi.
Yes.
Trustee McDougall.
Yes.
Trustee Mayo. Oh, I vote yes. I'm going down the list. So good. The motion is adopted on a 5-0-0-0 vote with support from our student trustee regarding sufficiency of textbooks, and my apologies to Trustee Lawrence and Trustee Mason. Okay, we're ready to move on to 17.2. Dr. Clark. And thank you, staff, for the presentation.
Yes, we have review and potential approval of changes to board policies. This is info action. We have two back for approval on this one.
This is board policy 3100 and AR 3100 that the motion would
So
be.
I would make a motion to approve the revisions made to BP 3100 and AR 3100 as presented.
Second.
So we have a motion by Trustee Mason with a second by Trustee McDougall regarding the board policies and AR 3100. Further discussion? Trustee Barrera Oriana, how do you vote?
Yes.
Trustee Mason?
Yes.
Trustee McDougall?
Yes.
Trustee Lawrence?
Yes.
Trustee Nzewi?
Yes.
And Trustee Mayo votes yes also. And the motion is adopted on a 5-0-0-0 vote in support of the changes to 3100 board policy and AR. 17.3, Dr. Clark.
17.3, review and potential approval of changes to board policies. We have 1 for first read here and 2 for approval.
So the motions, the board policies for consideration are board policy 9224 and 9260.
So I would make a motion to approve the revisions to BB 9224 and 9260 as presented.
Second.
So there's a motion by trustee Mason with a second by trustee McDougall regarding the adoption of board policy 9224 and 9260. Is everybody ready to vote? Trustee Barrera Oriana, how do you vote?
Yes.
Thank you. Trustee Mason?
Yes.
Trustee McDougall?
Yes.
Trustee Lawrence?
Yes.
Trustee Nzewi?
Yes.
And trustee Mayo votes yes. And that motion is adopted on a 5-0-0-0 vote with support from our student trustee. And one of these times I'm going to say trustee Linda Mayo votes yes. 17.4, Dr. Clark. We have.
Yeah, this is going to be our last item. Before I do this and before Suzanne can stop me, I just have to make one correction in my report. I said $300 per year. It's actually 300 hours that those students were eligible for. It's hours and not dollars. So
Yeah.
hours. I know it is.
It's been cut to 120. Is that for the
120 for a lifetime. All right.
A lifetime.
Yes.
It's
To stay on. I'm on it, Suzanne. I'm sorry. All right. All right. 17.4, review and potential approval of changes to board policies and administrative regs. This is for info only.
right. So if you have any questions about these changes, please contact Dr. Clark. We don't need a meeting extension. I don't think we're going to carry over anything to closed session. And the future agenda items. Are there anything that you want to bring up?
I would just say thank you. I appreciate, I know it's tentative, but
Tentative.
the first session on budget. So I'm looking forward to that and I appreciate that.
Yes, Mr. McDougall?
Yes. I believe, I don't know how to suggest this, but I'd like to see that the district has an observation on every September 17th for Constitution and Citizenship Day. It is a federal requirement and we are out of compliance. So I'd like to see how we can get this district back into compliance on this.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We've heard your request. With that being said, should I hold us for 2 more minutes or adjourn at 8:58? Thank you, everybody, for attending.